Hey guys, welcome back to the video. This is part 2. And if you have not watched the first part of this, I really want you to just go back and watch part 1 and then come back and watch the second part, because I know that it's going to be amazing and it is going to help you. Stop exposing yourself to things that are diluting your vision. And I'm going to get into the things that can dilute your vision. And when we talk about vision, and we're talking about our future, our purpose, our destiny, our life plan, our goals. This is all tied into your vision for your life. So one thing that will dilute your vision is fear. Being afraid is something that some people say, okay, you can't help being afraid, but I beg to differ. If you're a person who deals with chronic fear, if you're constantly faced with being afraid or having anxiety or dealing with like paranoia about your life or just being scared in general, there are things that you can do. So one, kind of distance yourself from other people who are just like that. Because if you want to grow to be a better person, you want to be stronger in an area, you need to get around people who are stronger in that area and pull away from people who are weak in that area. And this does not say that you have to cut off somebody because they're highly afraid, but you do want to limit what you share with them about your life and your vision. If you know this person deals with being afraid, don't tell this person that you want to travel the world and see 50 cities and you're going to fly and do this, and that person is afraid to fly on an airplane. Don't share that with that person, because all they're going to do is try to talk you out of doing what you've already made up in your mind that you are not afraid to do. But sometimes people can prick you with fear, and once you get pricked with fear, fear spreads. So it's like taking a shot, like taking a needle filled with a liquid. Let's say the liquid is fear. The needle's filled with liquid. They put it in your veins. They give you just a little dose, and it just spreads all throughout your body. And next thing you know, you're now afraid to fly. You're now afraid to travel. You're now afraid to do this. And that's just not how life is designed to be. For myself, I am very particular on who I share a lot of things with, especially things that I find are beyond myself. If it's something that is in my heart and mind to do, and I feel like even I'm a little apprehensive about it, I'm going to be very particular about who I share that with, because if it's already beyond me, I know that the only way I'm going to be able to do this is proper follow through and God helping me. I know that, a person in my life who's highly scared of everything is not going to be able to help me. So I'm not going to share that with you. I might share it with you like when I'm on the plane or when I'm getting ready to get on the plane like a day before, but I'm not going to tell you that like 6 months before so that you can, continuously spike that fear into me, because that's just what I find people do. I'm just going to be honest with you. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people in the world operate in fear. A lot of people in the world don't know how to comfortably be courageous. A lot of people don't know how to comfortably be bold. If you're trying to keep fear from your own self, then stop being around a lot of fearful people. Stop exposing yourself to things that make you afraid. This is one thing I want to talk about. When you constantly are watching things that put fear into your heart, then that fear spreads and it is manifested through other ways. So if you're already a person who worries a lot and you're already like a scared person, then you probably don't want to watch like Walking Dead or How to Get Away with Murder, because those things, all they're doing is planting fear on the inside of you. And if you already struggle with fear, then there's no point of you injecting yourself with more fear. Now, before you come at me and say, oh, that's just a TV show, those are just forms of entertainment, those are just things those are not real things. Anything that you're exposing yourself to, I don't care if it's entertainment or not. The mind doesn't know the difference between entertainment or reality. So it's going to process everything that you're putting in your mind, and it's going to be manifested out, because that's what you're feeding yourself with. So if you're feeding yourself with a lot of fearful TV, a lot of like criminal stuff, a lot of things that just make you scared, like those demented horror films, and you already struggle with fear, stop exposing yourself to that fear. You want to go to haunted houses and go through all these little scary things, and you're already a person who can't speak up for yourself. You're already a person who may not be able to make your own decisions in business, or you may be afraid of what people think about you, but you want to expose yourself to more scary stuff. Because fear is fear, and fear doesn't know when to come out and when to stay. You know, once you put fear in the forefront of your mind and in your heart and in your spirit, it's going to come out. However, so, you know, for me, I don't really entertain fear. I don't tolerate fear. I understand as a person, I have to deal with everyone, and everyone is different, but I don't mingle with fear. I don't coddle fear. I reject fear because God didn't give me fear, and I've never really liked fear because I've seen what it does to people. Fear cripples you. Fear is belittling. Fear is the absence of God's presence. There's no way that you can be happy and truly be trusting if you're filled with fear and worry. There's no way that you can be effective in being bold and courageous like God tells us to be, and you're filled with fear. The two just don't mix. And so because I choose to be bold and courageous and be happy and be joyful, and because I choose to walk by faith and extreme faith, then I just reject fear. There's no other choice for me. So I want you to also understand that when you're exposing yourself to all that fearful stuff, you're just feeding yourself with more of it. Another thing, evil and crime. Evil and crime. Exposing yourself to a lot of crime and a lot of evil is diluting your purpose. It's diluting your vision. It's diluting your destiny. And you might say it's not, but I got receipts. So I understand the difference between living in a world where you need to be informed, you want to know what's going on in the world, you don't want to be ignorant to what's happening right around us. I get it. I understand it to a degree. Knowing things that are going on in the world, in our nation, in our community, wanting to pray, wanting to do something, wanting to take action, that's all good. But consuming yourself with crime and evil is going to dilute the way that you think. It's going to dilute the way that you operate on a daily basis. And it's not going to really change a lot. For example, we know that there's certain crimes going on, and I'm not going to mention them because I think I can't really even say a lot of stuff on this platform without getting dinged or something like that. But you can just, I'll lead you to your imagination, all the things that are going on in our world right now, okay? Yes, you want to know about them. You want to be informed. You want to know if you can help. And there's certain things happening right in your own community that you need to know because you need to watch out for your own safety. But what I'm saying is once you're informed and once you know, okay, you can make a wise decision on what to do or how to modify your life in order not to be in that situation. But consuming yourself with the same stories day in and day out, consuming yourself with the same situations, watching it on TV day in and day out, replaying negative videos, replaying violence, replaying death, replaying disaster, replaying killings. Those type of things will dilute your vision. I have encountered people that say, I don't want any kids because I cannot raise my kids in such an evil world. This world is so evil. This world is so dangerous. They're doing all this stuff to kids now. They're doing this and that. Like, I wouldn't trust anybody with my kid. I just don't want a kid. You see how that mindset just took away a part of your destiny, that you could have been a parent, a mother, a father, to birth a world changer, to birth somebody that could change something in our world that's needed. They could have been the difference maker in this evil world. But because now you've consumed yourself with so much crime and evil, you're now backing down from something that could have been for you because of the fear, because of the overexposure. You know, I'm highly against like reposting these fighting videos, reposting how somebody gets killed. I don't even watch those videos. There was a time years ago when I would hear about how somebody got killed and I would be like, oh, let me watch it. And I would be sick. You know, once you watch something, you cannot unsee it. It does something to your psyche. It does something to your mind and your spirit. And then you wonder why you deal with anxiety and paranoia and, you know, resentment, all these different negative feelings that latch onto you because you have exposed yourself to these feelings. You've exposed yourself to this world that you were never supposed to be exposed to. I personally don't believe that people were created to constantly watch somebody getting killed. I don't think that the mind and the body, I don't think that that's God's intentions for us, is to constantly watch a person dying, constantly watch somebody getting shot in the head, constantly watching. And I mean, I am very, very respectful, and I'm very remorseful for those people that have happened to. I'm not ignorant to knowing that unfortunately those injustices and those crimes do happen far too much. And I'm not saying just sweep it under the rug. I'm not saying don't care. But what good is it going to do for you to sit there and watch 50 videos a day of somebody getting killed? It's not doing anything for you, but diluting the mindset that you have. Then it's hard for you to think pure. It's hard for you to trust. It's hard for you to have joy. It's hard for you to live by faith and think of the impossible when you're thinking of these negative possibilities. It's hard for you to think of things wonderful that can happen when you're constantly watching this negative stuff. So I just want to tell you, like, stop doing that. Stop letting people show you, like, even, okay, my husband and I, we both kind of feel the same when it comes to our exposure to things. My husband is a musician. He plays music for church. You know, he has to play a certain type of music to change an atmosphere in a congregation of believers. So I'm really big off him protecting his gift. He's big on protecting his gift. And we remind each other, like, we'll see something on social media and he'll be like, oh my gosh, I just saw like the worst thing. And he'll be like, let me show you. And I'll be like, hold on. What is it? He'd be like, no, it's not anything like that. It's not, because he already knows how I feel. And then I also know too how he feels. Like, we just don't want to put garbage in our system. Now, were we always like that? I'm pretty sure neither of us were always like that. I know he says that he wasn't like that. I wasn't always like that. I just look at anything. I'd be like, oh, let me see this. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I wasn't prepared for that. Because I've learned through wisdom and life living that everything is not for my eyes. Everything is not for my ears. Everything is not for my heart. Everything's not for my spirit. And I'm okay with that. But I bet when it comes time for me to be effective, and when it comes time for me to produce something that is meant to be done, I can do it. Because I've not diluted myself with all that evil and all that crime. I don't fear having children because of the state of the world, because I feel like my children will be protected. I feel like we'll be living a life that we will do what's necessary to be safe. Now, for those of you watching, you might say, oh, you can't control everything that happens to your kid, blah. But I don't have fear in having children because of the state of this world, is all I'm saying. Exposing yourself to things like that are just diluting your vision. That leads me to my next point. Overexposing yourself to death. Death is some part of life. Death is something that you cannot change. Just as we are appointed to live, we are appointed to die. And I understand it's a natural part of being on this earth. However, exposing yourself to death unnecessarily can dilute your vision. Now, I've been in a situation most recently where we've lost a member of our family, and it was hard to deal with. Even though we don't think of death like how most people do. We understand that it was our loved one's time and they were no longer suffering, and we were just choosing to be grateful for their life and their legacy and everything that they had left us, and that they had instilled in us, and the time that they shared with us. We understood that, but it was still hard. It was still difficult being in that season or in that time frame of dealing with death and having to go through preparations and having to, just all the things that come with death. As much as you try to be understanding, as much as you try to prepare for it, it's just something that cannot be explained. So what am I saying? Overexposing yourself, similarly to like what I said with evil and crime, overexposing yourself to a lot of death stuff, it will create this cloud, this great cloud among you, because you're not meant to constantly put yourself in the realm of that. A lot of times when someone loses a loved one and tragedy happens, if you believe in God, I feel like God has a way of upholding you. He has a way of bearing that load for you. If you cast your cares on him through that time of grief and bereavement, he actually can give you joy in the midst of it, and he can carry you through, because he understands that that's something in your life that had to happen, and it's something that you needed to go through. And so he puts nothing more in you than you can handle when it comes to someone in your family or somebody that you're tied to, a friend, a coworker, a relative. But when you go out there and just expose yourself to the spirit of death, then you open up yourself to these things that come with death that you really don't need to. And it can make you afraid. It can make you fearful. It can make you skeptical. It can make you depressed. It can make you downhearted. It can make you very tired. It can make you sleepy. It can just make you very grim. It can. And so I am very, like, I'm how am I trying to say this? I'm very particular on exposing myself to death unless it's necessary. Now, I've been in positions where I've supported people losing a loved one. I've attended funeral services. I've attended life celebrations. I'm not against any of that stuff, but what I mean is, like, watching a lot of death, watching a lot of people get killed, watching people get murdered. I'm just not going to expose myself to it. Keeping your private affairs private. Your private life is private for a reason. And you have to learn what's permissible to share, what's beneficial to share with someone, or what's beneficial to you to share, and what's damaging to share. Everything that you go through in life, everything that you're facing in your life, everything that you're thinking in life, there are proper people designed for you to go to. Now, I'm a full advocate of therapy, counseling, all that stuff. If you are feeling tied down, bogged down in life, and you just feel like you need help getting through a phase in life, go to wise counsel. If you believe in God and you believe in the spiritual things, go to a leader. Go to a trusted leader. If you don't believe in God and you don't believe in that church system, get therapy. Go to a counselor. Even if you are in church and you believe in that, you can still go to a therapist. You can still go to a counselor. It's not a sin. It's not wrong. Go to someone who's qualified to help you. Everyone is not qualified to handle your personal matters. Everyone does not have the capacity to handle your personal matters. Everyone does not have the trust factor to handle your personal matters. Now, and I've made this mistake before. I'm sitting here telling you guys this on this video, that I've made the mistake before of telling my private matters to people who are not qualified with my private matters. I've sat and had lunch with people that I've confided in about things that I was going through, just thinking like, okay, this is my friend, you know, I can trust my friend. I can tell my friend what's going on in my life right now. They're gonna have my best interest at heart, not knowing that the person was not having my best interest at heart, immediately taking my information and sharing it with their family, and sharing it with the parents, and sharing it with their siblings, sharing it with their household, sharing it with whoever, just because, like, no respect of the confidence that I had in this person of telling them something about my life. And this is not, you know, something that I am salty about or bitter. You know, I accepted the fact that I was wrong for doing that. I trusted people that just were not proven to be trustworthy. And so I want you to stop doing that. Stop trusting people that have not proven to be trustworthy. What do you mean, Kamisha, proven to be trustworthy? If you see that that person tells everybody else's private affairs, they're not proven trustworthy. They're going to tell yours. Don't think that people are just untrustworthy to certain people and you're so special. No. If they're exposing that person's business or their private matters, they're exposing yours. Just stop doing it. Learn to take things to the right people. Anytime somebody's breaching trust and honesty and all that stuff, just stop telling people. My mom taught me when I was younger, never write down anything that you don't want someone else to see, and never tell anybody something that you don't want someone else to know, because you can never trust that they're going to keep that secret. So as I got older, you know, I kind of do understand that, because you may not be writing notes anymore, but posting, texting, emailing, any type of communication that people can screenshot and share. You'd be surprised how many people are screenshotting, sharing your information, and they don't care about your trust. They don't care about your vulnerability. They don't care about your need for help. They'll help you for that moment, but they can't wait to just spew it right out. Stop sharing stuff like that with people. You're worth more. And the last tip I have for ways to protect your vision and to stop diluting your purpose and your goals is to stop trying to control the narrative. Stop trying to make people like you. Stop trying to make people accept you. Stop trying to make people understand you. Those are 3 things that I feel like we spend a lot of our time doing. And while I do believe it is important to be a friendly, kind, generous, loving person, these are like foundational things that you really should work on having. But once you have worked on that, you kind of have to release the narrative about yourself. Stop trying to control the fact that this family does not like you, or stop trying to control that this coworker may not want to be around you. Stop trying to control the fact that this person doesn't want to do business with you just because it's you. Stop trying to control the narrative. You have to accept in life that no matter how nice you might be, no matter how hard you might try, no matter how much you're working on yourself, someone somewhere is going to take a part of who you are, and they're not going to like that part of who you are. I know that everyone does not like me, and I say that very, loosely. I'm saying that very generically. I'm not pinpointing any particular person because I don't know, nor do I care. But what I'm saying is, I just know within myself, as many people that tell me they love me, they like me, they enjoy being around me, I know that there are other people that don't like being around me. They don't enjoy my company because everybody should have a very strong sense of who you are. And sometimes when you do have a strong sense of who you are, some people don't like that. I love truth. I love being honest and authentic. Well, if someone is not honest and authentic and they don't like truth, they're not going to like being around me. That's going to rub them the wrong way. And the list can go on. It's okay, I don't try to control the narrative anymore. I used to do that like earlier in my life. I used to always want people to like me and understand that I'm a good-hearted person. And if somebody said something negative about me, I'd feel the need to clear it up and be like, no, that's not how it was. No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I said. Or no, I don't feel that way about you. Like, I found myself going to people who were pointless to I shouldn't even have cared. But I would find myself going to people being like, hey, I heard that you thought that I said this, and I really never said that, and I would never say anything bad about you. Like, just pouring my heart out to people who were not even worth an explanation. So that just was like a waste of time, because sometimes when people know that you're like that and they get a sense that you are that caring person and that you'll go above and beyond, they will intentionally reject you because that makes them feel good. You need to be okay with some people not liking you. You need to be okay with some people not knowing your side of the story, with whatever happened, with whenever. You need to be okay with some people misunderstanding you. Some people will always misunderstand you because they want to. They've already made up in their mind what they think about you, and you can sit and have a 10-hour conversation with them, and at the end of the conversation, you're gonna walk out saying, I still don't like her. I still don't like him. Yeah, I heard all that, but I still don't want to be around him. So don't waste your time and energy on trying to control what anybody thinks. Let people be what they want. If the right people are drawn, the right people will be drawn to you, and the right people will love you. The people that you need, they'll be drawn to you. So we go into a new season, a new year, a new segment of your life as you're watching this video, that you understand that you do have a right, you do have a will, you do have power to walk into your purpose and into your destiny. Just be the person that you're created to be without doing these things to distract yourself. It's time to come out of the self-sabotage, the victimization, the self-pity, and walk in power, walk in greatness. Like I always say, do not forget to be great on purpose, and I'll see you guys in the very next video.